logic, ignorance makes things invisible, ununderstandable. Ignorance. So the invisibility can be due to darkness, the external things are due to darkness. That is a drishtantam. Similarly, just as darkness can make things invisible, similarly ignorance also can make things invisible. But the invisibility of everything before creation, nothing existed, nothing was seen before creation. The invisibility, the non-perception of everything before creation, the invisibility of everything the invisibility of everything before creation, that invisibility is here in the form of non-separateness. Before the creation, the whole creation was non-separate from the source. This non-separateness of the creation with the source makes the creation invisible. Yes. Non-separateness. Creation becomes visible only if it stands separate from the source with a sense of division. It cannot stand away from the creation, from the source. But if there is a sense of division, it looks visible. If there is no division, its visibility is gone. You see, like the dream, as long as it looks separate from me, it looks visible before me. Dream looks visible before me as long as there is a sense of division between me and the dream. The moment I wake up, the division is gone. When the division is gone, its visibility is also gone. It's a very beautiful example. Try to follow this. The visibility of the dream is gone the moment the division is gone. Therefore, when we say before creation, the creation was invisible, the reason is not darkness, the reason is oneness. It's a very great unfoldment. The reason is oneness. Before you wake up, nothing is seen, nothing is visible. No form is visible, no sound is visible, no taste, no touch, no smell, no memory, no detail is visible. Why? The general conclusion is because of darkness of ignorance. That is wrong. That's not true. That's not true. What is truth is, in deep sleep state, no detail is visible to me because no detail stands separate from me. No form is visible to me because no form stands separate from the being. No creation is visible to me, it doesn't stand separate from the being. The non-separateness of the details with the being. The non-separateness of the details with the being. The non-separateness of the details with the being makes them invisible. Understand this point. It can give you the maturity of lives. Therefore, what we think darkness is not darkness, is oneness. What we interpret as darkness of deep sleep is not darkness of deep sleep, it is oneness of the being. That is what is called enlightenment. The very darkness of sleep being understood as oneness of the being. The darkness before life being what is universally mistaken to be the darkness before life should be correctly understood as oneness of the being. The darkness after death is not a darkness after death, it is oneness of the being, the non-dualness of the being. The oneness of the being. And if there is a oneness of the being, then nothing is visible. Thus, there are two things. Man thinks things are there but they are invisible. Things are there but they are invisible. The invisibility of things is due to darkness, is the interpretation, universal interpretation. The invisibility of things is due to darkness, is the universal interpretation. But actually total invisibility is not due to darkness, it is oneness of the being. You know, you wake up from the dream. Why does the dream become invisible? The dream is no longer there. We take it it becomes a routine. Anything that becomes a routine stops being a topic for reflection, I'm telling you. Somehow it becomes a routine matter. To wake up is a routine matter. To dream is another part of routine. To fall asleep is a part of routine. To wake up is a routine. Therefore this moving from state to state is a matter of routine. And because it is a routine throughout life, it looks as though it becomes a routine. It becomes as though it's accepted as a routine, and we never start thinking about it. It stops being reflection. Now I'm asking a small question. Why does the dream become invisible? I wake up and it is invisible. The simple answer is, I wake up, therefore it is invisible. That's not the complete answer. Just because you wake up from the dream, why should it become invisible? What happens to it? I wake up, why should it become invisible? Because it no longer stands separate from my being. It resolves in my being. It doesn't fly away. When I wake up from the dream doesn't vanish, doesn't fly away. We may use the term it vanishes. Where does it vanish? Where does the dream vanish? It doesn't fly away into the sky. It doesn't go away here and there. It resolves back unto the seer. You better seriously take it. It's a great, great, great clue to the truth. The dream resolves unto the very seer. And only understands this much. I wake up and it is gone, this much he understands. I wake up from the dream and the dream is gone. This much he understands. Where has it gone? Where does it go? Where does it go? What is its layasthanam? It is gone, it is seen, but where does it go? It goes unto the very seer. And I am going to give you the logic. If it went not to the seer, if it does not go back to the seer, supposing it goes somewhere else, it will still be visible. The invisibility of the dream is only on one condition. The dream becomes totally invisible only when it goes back to the self, not otherwise. If the dream flies away, I can still see it. If it flies above, I can still see it. If it goes to another place, I can still see it. Its invisibility is only guaranteed through its resolution unto the seer. It's a very big thing. I can go on talking about this point, wondering at this beautiful point, this beautiful phenomenon. Similarly, when a person falls asleep, the waking state is invisible. What happens to it? We think really when man falls asleep, the universe continues, only the sense organs close. That's not true. Where there is a correlation, there the resolution is of both. The eyes are correlated to the sense objects. The senses have correlation with the sense objects. The existence of the form is there only correlated to the eyes. The existence of the sounds is there only correlated to the ears. The sense objects are there only correlated to the senses. And when both of them are correlated, our great term for it is Gauna Ekatvam. Where there is Gauna Ekatvam, correlation, please understand. One of them cannot resolve and the other remain. When the eyes resolve, the forms also resolve. Silaya. Therefore, deep sleep state is a state of invisibility of both the senses and sense objects. Deep sleep state is a state of invisibility of the thought and the object. Deep sleep state is a state of invisibility of the universe. Deep sleep state is a state of invisibility. Deep sleep state is a state of invisibility of the universe. Did you hear this sentence? Deep sleep state is a state of invisibility of the universe. Why? Is it due to darkness? It is not darkness. Darkness cannot envelop the senses and the objects. The state cannot come under darkness, please. Inside the state, form can be bathed in darkness. But if the sound and form and taste and touch and smell, if all the five details are invisible, they are not under darkness. Only one thing is concealed by darkness, that is form. Darkness cannot conceal sound. Darkness, can it conceal sound? No. Can darkness conceal taste? You can still taste. Darkness cannot conceal touch and smell. Darkness can only conceal form. Only 1/5 of the creation. But if all the five are concealed, the form, the sound, the taste, the touch, the smell and their memory, the entire realm of the sense objects, if it is concealed in the deep sleep state, it is not concealed by darkness. Even though it looks like that, actually what makes the universe invisible before creation, what makes the universe invisible before creation is its oneness with the source. That is the meaning of Avritamasi. I am re-explaining it today. Avritamasi. The creation before the creation, the universe before the creation was invisible, was not there because it was one with the source. One with the source. Alright, if it is one with the source, why should it be invisible? Because only with the sense of division it becomes visible, not otherwise. And that sense of division also is a part of creation. Not only the universe is a creation, the sense of division between one's being and the creation is also a part of creation. And the entire creation, along with the sense of division, is one with the source. And therefore, it looks invisible, it looks darkness, but actually what is total darkness is nothing but oneness, ekatvam, ekatvam. Naibaiha kinchana gryasit mrityunaya vedamavrutamaasit ashanaya hi mrityuhu tan manaha akuruta atmanvi syamiti. Up to this, that source thought of having a mind. Let me have a mind. All these words will be explained in Bhashyam. Right now we can do whatever in a brief way. That means it is the source that decides to have a mind. So the mind is not had by an individual, the mind is had by the truth. The one who owns the mind is the truth. It is like Rahu Sharavat. I say when we say Rahu's head, I say Rahu includes head. You know, when the moon eclipse takes place, Rahu's head, Ketu's head. And Bhagavan Vishnu cut off the head of the Rahu. Rahu and Ketu, do you know the story of it? Rahu and Ketu, they were sitting in the same pangat as the Devatas. Bhagavan Vishnu wanted to distribute Amritam to Devatas, and they had a pangat. And two demons called the Rahu and Ketu, two asuras, also in disguise were sitting in the same pangat. And then the sun and the moon, both of them, told Bhagavan Vishnu that there are two, these are the two asuras. Then Bhagavan Vishnu cut off their heads, and the heads really became very angry that these sun and the moon are the ones who gave Bhagavan Vishnu the information about us. Therefore, they wanted to swallow them. So the one went and swallowed the sun, the other went and swallowed the moon. That is what we call Surya Grahanam and Chandra Grahanam. Take it for whatever it is worth. That is not important. But when you say Rahu's head, is it like Rahu's money? Rahu's money is different from Rahu, but Rahu's head is not different from Rahu. But yet we create a relation. See, that is a confusion. Rahu's head. Rahu includes head. Similarly, Jiva's mind, when we say. Jiva's mind is like Rahu Shira. Jiva doesn't have a mind. Jiva includes mind. To be an individual, also to have mind. Individuality is a part of mind. Mind is a part of individuality, and therefore it is a part of Rahu. The head of a person is a part of the person. The hand of a person is a part of a person. The mind of a person is a part of the person, but it is a creation in the source. Mind is a creation not in an individual. Mind is a creation in Parameshwara. Mind is a creation in Parameshwara, and therefore it is the source which thought of having the mind. And therefore ultimately the mind cannot be traced to the individual. The mind has to be traced to its source, Ishvara. Okay. Saha Archanna. Let us read the next line. We have to somehow complete the verse. Parameshwara started doing worship, Archanna. I mean, when he worshipped, whom did he worship? Bhasha is going to say he worshipped himself. Archanna Acharat Tasya Archataha. He conducted himself to be doing Archana. He invoked his own grace. Now here we have to supply a small little thing. Having created the space, having created fire, having created air, and having created fire, having created the first three details, the same source, invoked His grace further. God invoked His own grace. Like an individual inspires himself, you invoke your own grace. Let me do it. You invoke your own grace. You inspire yourself. Let me do it. That's called invoking one's own grace. And invoking your own inspiration, invoking your own goodwill for yourself, invoking your own inspiration for yourself, invoking your own confidence for yourself, invoking your own grace that can help you is called worshipping actually. It's called worshipping. Worshipping is nothing but invoking grace. So Parameshwara invoked His own grace in order to complete the further creation. The water, the earth, the water and the earth, the last two elements. And therefore Archan Acharat, he conducted himself in a manner to invoke his own grace. And I have told you, these are all not events. Ultimately the Tatparyam is going to be the oneness, but enjoy these details also. They are not really, these details are not without affinity to oneness. Prakriya, the details of Prakriya, the details of creation have affinity with oneness. The statement that the waves are born of water, the waves are sustained by water, the waves go back into water, all these three statements have affinity with the Tatparyam that they are all one with water. Thus this method of creation has affinity with the unfoldment of oneness. Don't think they are all far-fetched. No. They need to be interpreted correctly. Meaning, if he invoked his own grace to complete the creation, the Tatparyam of it is, he is both the maker and the material. He did not search for the material to complete the universe. He invoked his own grace. He is both the maker and he is also the material. If I have to do something like a pot maker, when he makes a pot, he looks for the clay. Then there is a search for the material. But Bhagavan did not search for the material. He did not look for the material. He only inspired himself, meaning himself is both the maker as well as the material. He is the Tatparyam. Nothing else. Archan, then Tasya Archataha, while from him who invoked his own grace, from him. That Archataha, underline that word, I want you to see its beautiful grammatical connotation. Archataha, it is a Shatru Pratyaya, present participle. And fifth case singular. And whenever we use the fifth case, apadana panchami, it is in the sense of upadana karana. From clay came the pot. From clay. From clay. It is one kind of from. Listen to this, very nice. You can use your brains to understand this beautiful difference. From clay comes the pot. From the wood comes the table. From water come the waves. From cotton comes the cloth. Similarly, from the worshipper, the source, comes the water element and the rest. That word from, it implies the material source. From wood comes the table means that from implies the material. From water comes the waves, that's the material. From the branch falls the fruit. There it is not. That is the point of departure. From has two meanings. From can mean a point of departure. From can mean the material in grammar. Are you able to follow? From still. A fruit falls from a tree. What does it from mean there? Point of departure. Nirgamana. Point of departure. I am coming from the south. Point of departure. He is coming from heaven. Point of departure. I am coming from home. Point of departure. A crow flies from the village to the river. Point of departure. It's nothing, very, very elementary grammar. Even if you were in your school very bad grammar student, even then you can understand what I am saying now. Yes. It is very simple. I came from the village, a point of departure. The table came from wood, material cause. The waves came from water, material. The wave, the ornaments came from gold, the material source. Referring to the source. Clear? Here the creation is mentioned, archataha, puja karne wale source se. Archataha is from. From the source who invoked his own grace, from him came water element. Archataha tasya apaha ajayanta. Even if you put it as the sixth case, it doesn't matter. It is for him and it is from him. Apaha, waters, ajayanta, were born. Water element was born of him who invoked his grace. Water element was created out of the source. When that source invoked his own grace for further creation, after creating, that must be supplied. After creating the space, air and fire. This Bhashkara is going to say. After creating the space, air and fire, the source of the creation invoked his grace further to be able to complete the creation, and from him then came the water element, apaha, ajayanta, the waters came. Archate me, kamabuditi, archate me, while I am worshipping. Archate me, kamabud, the one who for me, while worshipping, let there be water. That is how we worship. For me, who is worshipping, for my purpose, who is worshipping, may the water element come. Come abuditi. And that is why the fire is called arkam. The sun is called arka. Tadeva arkasya arkatvam. That is why the arka is called arka. Why? Because after the fire element, God created water element by way of invoking His own grace. That is why the sun is called Arkaha. Archate me kamabhuditi. Fire is something after which God worshipped Himself and the water came. What does Arka mean? That which is followed by water. Very beautiful. Arka means fire. Why is it called fire? It is followed by water element. Arkam. Kam means jalam. Kam also means sukham. Both. There are two meanings. It's a very beautiful. Arkam. Kam means sukham. Kam also means jalam. Why the Arka is called Arka? Because the creation of the fire element is followed by water element. So the source invoked His own grace. That is when Bhagavan Ramji went to Lanka. He invoked whose grace? He invoked the grace of Shiva. But actually he is invoking His own grace. Actually, even when you pray, you are invoking your own grace. Yes. Invoking Ishvara Anugraham is not separate from invoking your own grace. Whenever you follow the law, you are invoking your own grace. When you are truthful, you are following your own grace. When you are prayerful, you are invoking your own grace. Why? Because ultimately the light has to come. The truth is within. And even the light, I have to get the light about it from within. The truth is within. And I have to get the understanding about it from within, the light. And ultimately, even the Jiva, it is Atma Anugraham, invokes his own grace. But anyway, this is different, very, very Praudhavada. We will not indulge in this second thought that Jiva invokes his own grace. It is better to say Jiva has to invoke God's grace so that he can move ahead. But then here when we say Bhagavan himself invoked his grace, there is nothing illogical. God has to invoke his own grace. Tadev arkasya arkatvam kam hava asmai bhavati. Kam hava means water indeed, sukham indeed. Kam hava, sukham indeed. We can just translate it as sukham. Sukham indeed, happiness indeed, peace indeed. Kam hava asmai bhavati. A person gets sukham, a person gets happiness. Ya evametad arkasya arkatvam veda. The one who understands the meaning of the word arka, he becomes endowed with sukham. When a person becomes endowed with, when a person understands the definition of arka, he gets sukham. How? Just the definition. I said understanding definition means understanding all that is related to the definition. It means almost Brahma Vidyati. That the water element follows the fire element, and the space, the air, the fire appear in the source, and after the fire the water element appears in this manner, presupposing, that is called the logical sequence, that is called the pratipatti krama, that is called pratipatti krama, not kala krama. You are aware of it. Oh my God, even I have forgotten. The Swami has forgotten all these things, you remember it. It is called pratipatti krama. Presupposing the creation of the space is the creation of the air, presupposing the air is the creation of the fire, presupposing the fire is water, presupposing the water is the earth element. That is why there is a slow, gradual grossification. Not merely after, but presupposing. Thus, a person who understands this logical sequence among the creation, in the logical sequence, the one who understands the logical sequence, the krama among the five elements, the creation of the five elements, definitely, well, he gets sukham, he gets enlightenment. This is overji. Ya evametu darkasya arkatvam veda. Now we are going to see the bhashyam. Aram se. The bhashyam, I hope it doesn't fatigue you. Does it fatigue you? Does it tire you? While listening, it doesn't tire you enough. If it tires you, then we can make it half an hour. The class. Is it okay? एक घंटा तो जरूरी है, सुनना पड़ता है. एक घंटा नहीं तो आधा घंटा में क्या मिलता है? ये नहीं मिलता आधा घंटा. Says naiva iha kinchana agre asit. Naiva, never. Iha, that iha means here. Here means in one's anubhava. I think I gave it in the Moolam also. In one's sight. Iha, here, in oneself, in one's experience. Kinchana, anything, agre, before creation, asit, tha. Before creation, there was nothing in one's sight. It's like saying, before one wakes up, there is nothing in one's sight. Before one wakes up, there was nothing in one's sight. In fact, before one is born also, there is nothing in one's sight. It's a very beautiful similarity. There is no difference between the stage before waking up and the state before one wakes up and the state before one is born is the same. We understand, because before I am born, it's a total blackout. No form is in sight. Before I was born, there was nothing in my sight. And before I wake up also, there is nothing in my sight. But was the sight there? Yes, the sight was there. But not a form. There was no form. Naiva iha kinchana agre asit. It was there. There was nothing in one sight. And when we say like this, before one wakes up, there was nothing in one's sight. The Purva Pakshi may think it was non-existent. Ultimately, it has to be interpreted as nothing was visible. Nothing was existent has to be interpreted as nothing was visible. You see, when you wake up, when you recollect, when you look back at deep sleep before you wake up, or even before one's birth, if you recollect the state before birth, so supposing you were born somewhere in 1930s or 40s, before that, just nothing was in my sight. There was nothing in my sight, that is the correct recollection. Nothing was existent is a presumptuous statement. It's a presumption, not a proper recollection. There was nothing, no form was seen by me, nothing was visible to me. There was nothing that fell in my sight, is the right recollection. Whether something was existent or not, that I have to judge now. Existence has to be judged now. I have to make inquiry. I have to probe. I have to study my experience. I have to study my experience to find out if there was something existent or not. And the correct recollection is that nothing was visible. Is the right recollection, not nothing was existent. Before I woke up, nothing was existent is a presumption. Is a presumptuous statement. It's a presumptuous statement. Before I woke up, there was nothing existent is a presumption. But the correct recollection is, before I woke up, nothing was visible to me. There was nothing visible to me. On inquiry, we can understand that it was not that everything was non-existent. In fact, everything was invisible because everything was one with the source. Invisible. What is visible? What is visible now? What is visible now if it was invisible before? What is visible now if it becomes invisible later on? The only thing that makes it invisible is its becoming one with the source, not being enveloped by darkness. A state cannot be enveloped by darkness, please. Did you hear this? I conveyed it before. A given form can be enveloped by darkness. Inside the waking state, we have the forms and sounds and tastes and touches and smells. But only the form can be concealed by darkness. But all the other details cannot be concealed by darkness. But if all the 5 details and if all the 5 senses and even the memory of them, if they become concealed as in sleep or before life began, if the whole realm of division, if it becomes concealed, it is not concealed by darkness, it is concealed by the very source. They are becoming one with the source is what makes it invisible. When the wave resolves unto water, the wave is invisible. When the wave falls, the wave resolves unto water, let us say. The wave resolves unto water, the wave is invisible. When an ornament resolves unto gold, you melt the ornament, then the ornament is invisible. The reason for it is not that it is concealed by darkness. It is concealed by its oneness. The ornament gets concealed by its oneness with the source. The wave becomes invisible because of its oneness with the source. In sleep also the universe is invisible due to its oneness with the source. What a thing it is. Invisibility we always ascribe to darkness, whereas Vedanta says the invisibility of the whole state, not a given form, but the invisibility of the whole state is due to its oneness with the source. Ekatvam is the reason for the not seeing the what we call the forms and sounds, etc. The invisibility of the creation is due to its oneness with the source. I think I am trying to explain this particular point, very important. You get a beautiful sanskara in this. You get a beautiful sanskara in life. That is, death is not negation of things. Death is everything becomes one with the source. And that looks like negation. It is oneness. It is oneness. When you wake up from the dream has become one with you. And when you fall asleep, the entire waking state is one with you. With you means not an individual, because even individuality has resolved. Therefore, the individuality has become resolved unto the Absolute, the Truth, the Paramatma. And therefore, even the individuality is invisible in sleep. Even the individuality is not there. The thought that I am so and so is not felt in sleep. Why? I know I have to explain this. Even if you find it difficult, it is better to go on masticating these difficult but true thoughts. It is better to dwell on the difficult but useful, true thoughts related to the truth. When you fall asleep, the thought of individuality is not felt. Why? Don't say because there is no memory. It's wrong. I say I am asking a question, why the memory is not felt? You say the individuality is not felt because of the lack of memory. My question is, why the memory is not felt? Because the individuality is not felt, the memory is not felt because it has become one with the source. The individuality has become one with the source. When the individuality becomes one with the source, the whole universe has become one with the source. And therefore, ekatvam, becoming one with the source, is the reason behind the invisibility of creation. And therefore the first sentence, Naiva iha kinchana agre asit, before the creation there was nothing existing, should be interpreted as, the correct recollection is that before creation nothing was visible, nothing was in my sight. As regards existence or non-existence is something to be decided through inquiry, through study. Okay, then next sentence. We have to go sentence after sentence. Yiha sansara mandale, in this sansara mandala, in this creation. In sansara mandale, kinchana, even a little, kinchidapi, thoda bhi, namarupa pravibhakta visesham, the realm of names and forms. Namarupa pravibhakta visesham, this realm is called, this is a realm that is made of names and forms. There is nothing else, see. What do you call the form is form, sound also is a form. Every object is nothing but a form for which there is a language. The language that you can use to describe is the name. Yes. My goodness. Some of the objects, their name is as big as one volume. You understand? We call it the body. And what is the literature for it? Volumes of literature. And the entire language that you can use for a given detail, that language is its name. I hope you are able to follow what I am saying. Name is not one word. Name is the language. Understand this point. Every object is the form, and the language that you can use, its describability in language is its name. Its describability in language is the name. The entire literature about the tree is its name. The entire literature about the body is its name. The entire literature about the creation is its name. Therefore, there is no detail in God's creation that's not available for description in language, and therefore every object is both a form and a name, Nam Roop. And therefore when we say, ye duniya naam roop hai, is it something out of fashion statement? Unfashionable statement? Swamiji, hum log to 20th century mein rehte hain. We are so far ahead. People have even landed on the moon. You are still getting stuck to that old phrase called this world is a name and form. What else is it? What else is it if it is not name and form? It is name and form. Sometimes that, do you know why? I don't miss going here and there. I am very, very happy going back to my room and come back here and enjoy 2-4 वाक्य पढ़ के आराम आनंद से. Do you know why? Because even though times have changed, things have changed, the basics haven't changed. The love for happiness has not changed. You go to Mars or you go to the moon, ultimately what are you doing there? Searching for your fullness. Ultimately what the Shruti says is right. What the Shruti says is the right thing. भटकने से कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. Abide and study yourself. Abide and look at yourself. There is nothing. When you lose, you haven't lost anything. When you gain, you haven't gained anything. यह चेद अवेदीत अथ सत्यमस्ति न चेदिहा वेदीन महती विनष्टि. Mahati vinashti. If truth is understood, you are living a true life. If truth is not understood, you are groping in the dark. Therefore, sir, this creation is nothing but name and form. He is not an unfashionable phrase. I can even say, this universe is a maya when we say it is not an unfashionable statement. It is true, it is maya when we say it's pakka maya. Why? Because it is an appearance in the Ishvara. It is appearance in Ishvara, it is maya, and therefore there is no use of unnecessarily worrying day and night about a few details in life. It is better to think about Ishvara, the truth, rather than worry about, oh, this should have happened. Oh, this should have happened. My son would have done this, should have done this. My daughter should have done this. I should have built in some other colony, not here. क्या हो गया? भगवान की सृष्टि में सब ठीक है. And therefore, a lot of worries are baseless, I am telling you. A lot of worries. Supposing you have some sickness, I say, what is the difference? A lot of people who are not sick also just fly off. Just like that, they have a heart attack. They have no problem, they have no sickness. It is better to live a long life with sickness rather than just die abruptly without any sickness. Do you follow what I am saying? There are very healthy people who just die abruptly. Don't become worried about sickness. If there is some sickness and if we can just live on with medicine, be happy. If we can live on with some medication, be happy. Don't unnecessarily day and night worry. Oh, a sick man is one whose sickness has come to the fore. A healthy man is one whose sickness is lying dormant. बस इतना ही है. A healthy man is one whose sickness is not known. अभी concealed है. Source से oneness है अभी. It is one with the source. Yes. Try to just pull up yourself. Try to, inspire yourself and live in the midst of appearances, but for understanding the truth. Don't ever become depressed unnecessarily. And therefore here, this world is indeed name and form. Yes. It is indeed Maya. It is indeed rooted in Ishvara. And therefore, a person becomes modern, a person becomes intelligent, a person can be considered educated when he sees the truth as truth, the false as false. The one who is able to call the spade a spade is a modern man. He is a modern man. The one who falls for appearances is not modern. So kuch nahi. Thus, naiva he kinchana agreyasid, ye sansara mandale kinchana kinchidapi nama rupa pravibhakta visesham, naiva asid was not there, na babuva was not there when, agre before. Before means pragutpattehe manadehe, before the creation of the mind, etc. Before the creation of the mind, etc., there was nothing. Iti. Even though the Vakya says there was nothing, ultimately the students of Vedanta must interpret that nothing was visible. Was there something or not? Existence has to be determined by the study. What you recollect from sleep is, I didn't see anything, boss. I can only say nothing was seen by me, nothing was heard by me, nothing was tasted, no thought was felt, no memory was felt. This is the right recollection. That's okay. But why it was not visible? That has to be studied. It has to be, experiences have to be studied to understand the truth of experiences. Experiences have to be studied to understand their truth. Experience itself cannot be taken as the truth, even though truth is experience. But everything that is experienced need not be the truth. You see? And therefore, it is the study of all the experiences that ultimately determines what is existent in the sleep and what is not, and why is the now visible universe was not maybe visible before, and why the now visible universe will not be visible later on. Why does the visible become invisible? Why does the felt, I thought, become invisible, unfelt? Why does the felt mind become unfelt? A very important question, without answering which there is no breakthrough in Vedanta. The visibility of the whole state, the visibility of a given form can be due to darkness, but the invisibility of the whole state can only be due to its becoming resolved unto the source. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.